Everybody, welcome to Whiskey Web and Whatnot with your hosts, Robbie the Wagner and Adam Thomas Argyle the Nerd.
Yeah, we found one. Yeah, that's kind of like Charles's, but it's a little more nerdy. I'm not a third, but well
Yeah.
done. So we have a guest today. His name is. Look, I was trying to retweet the tweet, and now I'm stuck in Twitter, and I lost my notes.
Oh,
Oh man,
no.
we lost the momentum.
Womp
Where
womp.
where is the tweet so I can just get this out of the way? We'll cut
Right.
this in post. I'll just.
This episode is sponsored by Twitter. No, it's not.
Oh, that'd be sick. I don't see the tweet either. Oh, here it is live. Oh, okay. I'm gonna get double echo. Such a noob. Where's the retweet button? There isn't one.
What do you mean?
Okay, wait. Let's go to the Whiskey FM page. Oh, great. Now I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, it's there.
Here we go.
Oh,
Got
man.
it.
This
Got
is
it.
our first
Okay.
time, everybody. Sorry.
Hey. Okay. All right. So, on the show today, we have Kevin Powell, Twitcher, tuber, teacher, hacker, speaker, writer, instructor, and influencer. Most known for his YouTube channel, host of the General Musings podcast, instructor on Front End Masters, a front end friend, making his corner of the internet just a little bit more awesome and helping people fall in love with CSS. Kevin Powell, everyone. Welcome to the Whiskey Web and Whatnot show.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm blown away a little bit by that. Yeah, thank you.
You have a stack of compliments. It's really fun to go get.
Yeah, I feel like every time I have a guest on now, I need to step up my game because I definitely that was awesome.
I like doing it. It's from CSS Day. You were there, I think, when I first started doing these. They're just so fun.
Yeah, it's much more fun than I would just be like, hey, it's you. What do you do? Tell the people.
And make it short because I would like this whiskey now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's jump into it.
Yeah.
We've got some, let's see, I pulled up my notes and now I can't see my camera. Here, let's see. I've got Crown Royal Black in a little baggie, as it always is.
Baggie.
These are all over my dad's house because his favorite is Crown Royal, and he has like every flavor and just keeps all the bags. And I'm like,
Nice.
what are you going to use those for? Like, I don't know.
No.
But yeah, so this is 90 proof. It's not age stated, and they don't really tell you what it's made of other than it's high rye Canadian whiskey. And it's supposedly like matured in like darker charred barrels for longer or something, which makes it darker, which is why they call it black, I guess. And I should have taken this plastic off. Wait, I can just twist it, can't I?
It just twists.
Yeah, they really don't put much information on the bottom.
But they did have to say something. They're like, because you're like, all right, why is it the black version? And they were like, we made it a little spicier. Darker. It's darker because we put it in the thing. It's just so vague. Yeah. The sentence is just so succinct. It's pretty funny.
What's the OKLCH value? Can someone tell me?
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, it's definitely got it's got a higher chroma, but also less lightness. You can tell because it's down there towards the darker hue.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just kind of like darker in nature. Ooh, opacity is even less. It's like it's Crown Black. Maybe it is a little darker. Yeah. Ooh, the smell is sweet. Apples. I was eating blackberries earlier. Maybe that's on my fingers too. It smells like
definitely bright fruit of some kind.
Oh, bright fruit, not a dark fruit. Not a dark cherry, but a light cherry.
Not really cherry. I'm just saying like like citrusy, appley. I don't know. Not like a blackberry pie per se.
Ooh, there's some of the blendedness. The initial punch was sweet, but it finished really spicy. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, this is much different than normal Crown Royal. This is actually has some whiskey flavor, which the Crown Royal typically doesn't. It's just super sweet. It's yummy, but it's like doesn't really taste like whiskey. Interesting.
So this is not bad. This is enhanced. This is better. What am I going to do with this bag? I can't let my kids have it because I just trauma from when I was in high school and all the different paraphernalia people had in their crown bags. It's like all that was good for. They would. Oh, I just remember they would stink so bad and be like, "Hey, what's in that bag?" Dang, bro, jeez, my goodness, that is a gnarly bag. I'm too naive
doesn't
and Mormon to know
permeate
what's
the
going
bag?
on. I'm sure it
feel
did.
like
I
it
just
would.
didn't know.
Oh,
Oh, I forgot to toast. Oh, I wrote a toast. Okay, so
Oh.
before we take our first sip, everyone, we toast at the precipice of a momentous occasion for our dear friend Kevin. His channel, a testament to his wit and wisdom, is on the verge of a 1 million subscribers and 100 million video view. May your creative spirit continue to burn bright, Kevin, and may your journey to 1 million subscribers be but the first of many such triumphs. We also toast me as I embark on a new journey at Shopify. A toast for one, a milestone reached, and another, a path newly forged. Cheers, my friends.
here.
Yours.
That's fun.
That was really cool.
That is
Thank you.
fun.
Once again.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Now, should we
Yeah.
also forget a bunch of other things in the notes and like skip to something else real quick, or?
No, now's when we rate it, right? So that we can get past the rating and get into the
I was going to
whatnot.
actually forget the rating. Oh yeah. Okay. So on this podcast, very stringent rating system: 0 to 8 tentacles, 0 being the worst, 8 being the best, 4 or 5 or somewhere in there being middle of the road. Yeah. If you hate it, wouldn't even clean your toilet with it, 0. If you would want to not drink anything else forever, it's an 8. What do you think, Adam?
This is in this is good sixes, maybe a high 6, maybe like a 6 3/4, maybe even a 7. Like, it's very drinkable. It has a good burn, so we're at a good 45. It's got a good whiskey flavor, like you're saying, but the initial hit is kind of sweet. It's quite nice. So, I need to say a specific number. Let's do 7. I think this is good. I would whip this out for friends and be like, it's a Crown Black night, y'all.
Nice. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it. I'm not a huge fan of the regular one. Like you said, it's too sweet for me. This one has a little bit more to it, but it's really drinkable. So yeah, I was thinking 6. Adam might be swaying me up to a 7. 6.5. Can I go with half grades, or do you need?
You
do
can.
Yeah, I'd say like a 6.5 for sure. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's very drinkable. Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a little conflicted. I feel like in terms of Crown Royal, I would give it a 7. In terms of all whiskey, I think 6 may be more appropriate. So I'm going to say 6.
Nice. That's a good comparison. Yeah, I was comparing it to previous ones. It's good to put it in the grand scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should we do a few hot takes real quick?
Yeah. Hot take him. Give it to him, Robbie.
All right. Is CSS a programming language?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, I have to say yes, because I think like my community would abandon me if I didn't. But at the same time, like, it's not a hill I would die on. Like, I'm not, call it what you want to call it. And I enjoy it. I'm going to keep writing it, whether you want to, gatekeep on that or not. That's like, if that's the hill you want to die on, then go for it. I have other things I'll stress about more. But for me, I think it is. And I think there's more and more arguments every day with all the new things and all the new features that we have with it these days, that it's hard to just sort of say it's not in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure. I usually ask people if HTML is a programming language, and I usually get no. But then I follow up with, is CSS one? And they're like, wait a minute, maybe, because it does have a lot of math. And like Ken Wheeler's like, hey, that is definitely a programming language. I've seen what the kids do with that these days. Like, yeah, I tend to agree. I think you can do a lot.
It's got a Ken endorsement. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those things too now where like at one point you could say like, I feel like most of the people that are like, no, it's not, it's just a declarative language. And I'm like, all you're doing is the really simple stuff with it where like, yeah, you're setting a background color. Like that's not very fancy, like of course. But I just think with everything you can do these days and like you're there's all the CSS only stuff that's out there. But even then, like even if you just go to doing like background blue, like you did something pretty cool. Like I've had students, like that was my favorite thing when I was teaching in the classroom first day of like CSS, and they'd change the color of the text or a background color, and they're so excited, and they're like, I did that on the computer with code. And I'm like,
I am
yeah,
God.
that's yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, yeah, you're programming, go for it. Like this is awesome.
Yeah.
It's the gateway drug into everything else, you know, for people that don't come from the computer science backgrounds, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Good answer. Good answer.
All right, Adam, you want to do one? You want me to keep going?
Yeah. Oh, there's a couple fun ones in here. I mean, these. Oh, let's do the hot takes. Yeah. So was CSS and JS a mistake?
I think so. But um, I'm not, it wasn't something I've dealt with. Like I wouldn't go into it as like that's the approach I would take to doing it. And most of my experience with it was when I was doing some consulting work, and it'd be like these complete disasters that were people were like asking me to come in and fix, where it was just like they'd leaned into it so hard that they're just like, you know, it was just every single component would just have like redeclared everything, because it was like, oh, here's my Figma files telling me I need these things on it, so I'm going to declare the font family and the font size and the color and all this. And you're just like, and it's, you know, I think it's a tool that can be used and can be effective, but it can also lead to lots of misuse. And I guess it served a bit of a purpose for a while, but I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. Let's say that.
Kind of sounds like you're saying it was a mistake and now it's dead.
That's what I heard. Yeah. Yeah. He's just too nice of a guy. He won't say that.
I love it. All right, you can only pick one, Kevin. Grid or Flexbox? Which one?
It should be an easy answer for Grid in a way, because I use it so much more than Flexbox. But there's a few things with Flexbox that like I wouldn't want to lose, and I'm like, I can hack the other stuff I do to try and get close enough to the Grid things I do. So I think if it was like for everybody out there and I was deciding that like everybody could only use one, I'd probably choose Grid, because I think you can just simplify enough things and like just deal with the result otherwise. I think if it's people that really know what they're doing, you're probably fine if you just have Flexbox. So which it feels bad, because I'm like the biggest stan for Grid and get very mad at people that are like, no, you don't need that, you just use Flexbox. But yeah, I think I could manage better without Grid, which feels kind of weird to say.
I think I feel the same way. We had Flex for so long, I feel like, that like we got used to working without Grid. And so while I do enjoy using it when it has a, you know, clear use case, I do reach for Flex sometimes. Like, I don't know. I don't think you're ever going to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think, you know, we need it still. They both do some stuff really well. I find, again, I use Grid more than I use Flex on like a regular base, or like if I was to count the declarations, I'm sure, you know, CSS stats, whatever, I would have a lot more Grid declarations than Flexbox on a regular project. But just there's like, you can muck around with Flexbox and do something. You can do it with Grid too, though. I don't know. I think now I'm not sure. I'm talking myself around the other way.
You can do anything with anything if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
Just use JavaScript. Don't have to pick either.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess one follow-up that we kind of related to was CSS and JS a mistake was, or not. Okay, no, hold on. Sorry. Whoop. Tailwind or vanilla CSS?
But for me, that's an easy one. Vanilla CSS all day long. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't going to say was Tailwind a mistake. I wanted to rephrase it to the same thing that we always ask. But okay.
My token response for people asking me about Tailwind is that I get why people like it, but it's not for me. I do think that there's, you know, again, I see what it's solving or you know, why people like it. The big issue I have is a lot of people that I'm helping are beginners, and they start doing all this stuff with Tailwind that don't really know it. And you're trying to debug beginner CSS can be hard enough when they don't really know what they're doing. And then when it's all just this wall of classes, I'm just like, oh my God. So it's, you know, I think it's it can be a good tool for people who know what they're doing with CSS already. And it comes with, I get people like that. It has like, you're not worried about, is it 12 pixels or 13 or 14? You just have your tokens sort of in a way that are done. So like, yeah, I can see how that can be useful, but yeah, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I hadn't really considered like the beginner. Like I've always been thinking about, us as developers, what do we choose? But then it's like if you're learning, that could be very confusing. I agree with that. Because yeah, I think when I had a decent CSS foundation and then I jump into Tailwind, it actually increased my CSS knowledge because their docs are very good at teaching you CSS actually, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I think it would be very confusing if you're like, oh, you just throw classes on stuff to style it and you have no idea what the CSS is behind the scenes. That would be hard to grok.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like now they're starting to move more towards CSS in some ways, but I'm curious how they're going to handle some of the newer features that are coming as well, because there's some stuff that I'm like, oh, you can't really do that with a class. I don't know what I'll be curious to see because there's smart people working on it, so I'm sure they'll come up with something.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll make it work. Yeah,
It's funny, they both vanilla and Tailwind have a copy paste issue if you're a beginner. Like I like the way that looks. I want that over here. So you go copy paste it. But with Tailwind, there's one added kind of difficulty in the debugging, which is so you find the element, right? Now the element, instead of listing all those styles together in one little block for you to easily go read, you need to know that you can twirl open the class, the CLS is what it's called. It doesn't even say the word class or give you a hint that this is what the class. So you got to open up the class. And then once that's open, let's hope you don't have a whole bunch of classes on there, because if you do, then you're just looking at a big flat list and you got to know what MT and all these different things mean. So now you're in there toggling. Is this how most people debug Tailwind? Is they go undo a bunch of classes and then slowly add them back in? Or do you try to guess at the subtractive debugging strategy? Like what's the way to if you're new, how do you uncover what happened?
It depends, as in all things, but it's actually tricky because if your setup is tree shaking out the unused classes and you want to try another class like in your dev tools, it's like nope. So yeah, it all depends on your setup, but it's not always straightforward.
Happens with my custom properties too when I use the plugin I wrote for the post CSS JIT props, which will only put in the CSS properties that you used. It's the same deal. You're like, oh, I don't like that blue. Let me go try on blue number 4 instead of blue number 3. And it's like, we don't know what blue 4 is. And I'm like, what? Oh yeah, I have to go back. I got to do the full round trip just to add a blue color to my style sheet. That sucks.
Yeah,
Funny.
Complaining about these really nice tools we have is funny.
I want to know, where's your favorite place to write CSS? It's like whether or not you do you want type ahead? Do you want pop-ups and things to assist you? Do you want to see values, or do you just want like a text editor? Do you want to be in CodePen? You got an IDE? Where is Kevin Powell in his happy place, just smashing CSS out, just like?
I'm all over the place. I do go, if I'm thinking of something, CodePen would be the first place I go to. I don't like autocomplete stuff in general, though every now and then you're happy it's there when you're like, when you're forgetting a value name and you're like, you want that list to like
size? Yeah. Is it there's all these weird ones now.
Yeah. But and even like I have like 5 different profiles in VS Code, because I have like my recording one, and then a clean recording one for shorts, and then another recording one for other things I'm doing is formatting on or off. And it's just such a mess for me in terms of like, is autocomplete on and off, and is there the pop-ups that are coming here and there, and then like, so I'm just, I don't know, I'm a bit of a mess, but I'm a bit of a purist. I think for me, I like having it as clean as possible, with like, if I do need a little bit of help, I'd appreciate it sometimes from like a little list I can choose from. But I have the advantage of living in that all the time, so I generally know what I want. And even I do get asked in my videos a lot why I don't even use Emmet with CSS, which I don't. And I'm like, I use it for HTML because that's long to write. And I'm just like,
same thing. Yeah.
I never bothered. And like, I guess. And I'm like, it's not that long to write. Like, there's not that many. Most declarations aren't that long. So yeah, and I've tried a few like of the more like AI autocomplete stuff that's trying to read your mind, and I just get frustrated with it. So I don't I just go old school.
Nice. What's the scariest CSS feature? Like if I came up to you and you didn't see me and I was behind you and I just whispered something over your shoulder, like a CSS property, what would send goosebumps just down your back?
Jeez, that's a good question. It'd be like any of
Isn't
the
it? It's
new
kind of weird,
stuff
but
that I don't know, because people always expect me to know everything with it, and then like I was doing like I don't know anytime I'll be doing a live stream and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try something like a new thing I haven't really done before, and if it's like usually it's not that hard, but like let's get into view transitions, and I'm just like, oh my god, like this is I opened a can of worms on this one. This isn't what I was expecting when I first dove into it. Um, but then yeah, I'm trying to think. View transitions still sort of scare me a little bit in that I always feel like I'm missing something, or like I was doing something the other day and then I found out about, I don't remember what it's, the gated ones, I think, or guarded view transitions. So you can have like, if you're running one, it won't run all of them on your page, which is the default. And then I'm like, okay, that solves the problem that I came up with a really hacky solution for. I'm glad that's there, but it's just like there's always another layer. And I find, it's good to learn. It's fun with that, but it's intimidating sometimes too. And you're just like, I'm trying to learn this, and it just seems like a never-ending hole. I can't imagine people that are not able to spend hours building silly demos.
yeah, view transitions is a hole that you can fall into. That is for sure. It starts out so easy. You're like, oh, I gave you a name and then I changed the DOM and you morphed. I am
Yeah.
awesome. And then
Yeah.
it's
Making
all
like a
downhill from there.
filter, and they just like, oh, I use my filter and the pieces just slide around. I didn't have that was it. Wow. And then, yeah.
See, I'm like, Robbie, what do you, yeah, you want to pop the next cue?
Yes, I was going to. Uh, which was your first CSS preprocessor?
SAS. And yeah, I use SAS a lot. I never.
SASS or SCSS?
Oh,
Oh, so I definitely was the SASS to start with. I don't like, oh, this is cool. It's clean. It's awesome. And I think the only reason I stopped was because I was recording videos. I actually, at the time I was teaching in the classroom too. And the amount of times I'd be doing demos like in front of my class and just forget a semicolon or not put like a curly brace. And then I was like, okay, I'm not sure this is working for me just because I'm building like the wrong muscle memory. And then the same, I would do videos using it. And I just like, I was like, at one point, I was like, if I'm recording a video, it makes more sense to use SCSS just because it's more accessible for people who don't know it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go down that route instead. And then I sort of just got used to it and never went back. But I have a fond spot for the clean syntax of SASS for sure.
What about
wait.
you,
So I
Robbie? What
forget.
your
Did it
first-
not?
Oh, yeah.
Did it not have curly braces?
SASS did not.
Oh, gross.
No curlies, no semicolons, but it did have colons. And then you had stylus, which had none of that junk. It had no curlies, no colons, no semicolons.
So
none of
I
those
have to
boys.
hit the space bar and like format stuff. Like there's
No,
no
you can
auto
hit tab.
format.
Yeah, you could tab in or space. It just
Well, I have to
wasn't delimited
manually
by
like
those.
I can't just type a gross string and go auto format.
Yeah,
like,
no,
like
yeah.
you can in SCSS.
Yeah.
yeah,
Which
that's
I definitely,
definitely a benefit.
Oh, go
I
ahead,
was
yeah.
just saying, I definitely lean on that more nowadays, where I just sort of pound the keys and then format. Okay, there, that looks nicer.
Yeah, yeah. I
Feels
never
like
space anything out.
Did TypeScript learn from SAS? You know, like stay close to the language. That's how you gain adoption. Look at all the other failed ones that tried to superset, and CoffeeScript was more like SAS, and now you have TypeScript, which is more like SAS. Oh wait, that's confusing to anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting, little comparison.
Well, I think CoffeeScript really influenced like all the modern JavaScript stuff. They took like
Hells yeah, it did. Yeah.
a lot of the nice things and then none of the crap that no one wanted, and just put it right in JavaScript. So thank you, CoffeeScript.
I still miss the two arrow functions where you had the thick arrow and the thin arrow. I thought that was cool. And ES6 only took one. They took the thin arrow.
What was the other one?
One was just it was an anonymous function, and then the other one bound this to your function. So
Okay.
that
Yeah, so we have that, but we don't have one that doesn't bind this.
yeah, so we can't arrow function so we have to type function or we do the thin arrow. I know, it's garbage.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna pop one because this was because I was listening to your podcast with you and Sarah Sweetan,
Yep.
and y'all were, which was a great episode, by the way. Also, Sarah, so cool.
Yeah, she's
Sarah,
amazing.
you're so cool. I doubt you're listening to the Whiskey Bro Show, but you know what? You're super cool, and I totally like respect everything you do. Okay, so y'all were talking though about like some CSS features seem to ship really fast, and Sarah's like, I try to keep a thumb on the beat, so do you, and then you're all like, it's here. We don't know how long it was in an experimental flag. Like I can't keep a track of every flag and think about the dates and all that stuff. And so you're all like, sometimes things ship faster than maybe you were ready for. So my question to you is, which CSS features do you wish would just hurry the hell up because they're taking way too long?
I definitely. Well, I guess they're sort of here with like the state querying with like the stuck and the stuff you were involved in there. That's super useful, and I could use that. And I haven't dove too deep into it, but definitely that's one where I've been like, yeah, we need that. Another one is, and I don't remember the name of it. I don't even know how H or CSS specific it related is, but I just before coming on, I saw a post on Blue Sky from Yuna about it. It's like the tooltip thing now, where you can like, I don't know what it's called. You can like connect.
Oh, the tether?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. There's so many
Different
things
than
going
Anchor?
on.
It's the dingle on the anchor. Well, it's the dingle on the kite. So
Explain in better words, please.
Anchor's always been really confusing because you're like, when you tell someone it's an anchor feature, but then you're like, oh, it takes two pieces for this feature to work. Something is anchoring to somewhere else. The word anchor starts to get overloaded really fast, and so what did we call it? It was we tried to create good verbiage. It was so there's the anchor, which is like the thing that doesn't move. And then the thing that does want to attach to it, the positioned element. So you have an anchor that stays stationary and a positioned element that somehow moves and attaches itself to that item. So that positioned element commonly would like to have a little dingle that points to the thing it's anchored to, so that it's not just
like
free
the little
floating.
arrow?
Yeah, like the little down arrow thing. And so before the tether dingle was in CSS, you had to that was actually impossible. You didn't know which one of your try options, because an anchored element can move around based on screen real estate. So maybe it would be under or over based on what's there, or on the left side or the right side. And you didn't know which one it was, so you couldn't put your dingle in the right spot.
There was.
So anyway,
I'm really looking forward.
It was on.
I'm really looking forward to having a dingle pseudo class now.
It's going to be a good dingleberry joke somewhere in there. It's like, oh, there you go. Just need to use the tether, make it a berry. There's your, okay. That's good. That's a good demo.
Yeah, we could call it an arrow. That's what most tooltips would call it.
You could. Or the swoopy.
Yeah.
You get the little
Ooh, the
swoopy
swoopy,
because it's a speech bubble swoopy.
Yeah, so it
that's
doesn't
funny.
tell you. I haven't actually used the anchor positioning stuff at all. I just know it exists. But it doesn't tell you which one it's on, like when it's there. Like if it flips, it doesn't tell you that I have flipped. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's magic. So you declared, hey, pick top or bottom. And then it goes, I picked one. And you're like, yeah, how do I query or know which one it is? And they're like, I don't know.
Cool. This episode is sponsored by Floating DOM or Floating UI or whatever it is, the one that does the tooltips and tells you which side it's on.
Seriously. And floating UI even unfortunately has some superpowers that anchor positioning can't do. So if you're looking for like a straight trade, it's not equivalent, which is frustrating.
Cool. I'm glad I didn't try that experiment then. So we use it in Shepherd and we have to know what side it's on. So
Yeah. Yeah, but that might even be a query. So wait, Kevin, I haven't seen it, and last I saw, tether was a pseudo element. But how does it know which corner? Did they come up with a state query for? So it was going to be a container query, just like a scroll container query that can scroll state. Is it anchor state asking for which side
I,
it's attaching to?
I wish I could tell you. This is one of those ones where I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to keep my eye on it, but I didn't dive into how it's working yet. Yeah. And there's, yeah, I'm trying to think of the other things that are like that, but all the margin trim, text box trim stuff, I'm also, that's like, I've been waiting for that for like 7 years, I think, probably. I remember like a super early blog post on Medium a long time ago on one of those that now I'm like, it's finally happened. Yeah, yeah, this is just exactly, yeah. And I'm like,
Amazing
it's finally
GIF.
happening. Yeah. Which is going to be awesome. Definitely one of those things that's just going to be used a lot, that like people don't realize that it's just going to become one of those features that they're throwing in all the time just to like cut those extra margins off that they don't need.
Totally. Robbie, do you know what he's talking about, or should we get a classic Kevin Powell explanation, amazing CSS explanation on
Oh,
here?
yeah, you can explain it if you want. I don't know. I understood kind of from when you went like this, but yeah.
So there's two different ones. There's text box trim, which I have a harder time explaining, but I think I've actually used that one. Then there's margin trim, I think is the one that more people are going to use. Well,
I'm
no,
opposite of that.
no, maybe
Yeah.
not. But okay, margin trim is if you have, okay, say you do a card and the first element has a margin top and the last element has a margin bottom, because text always has margins on it by default, and then it's causing that it's either collapsing margins or what. Anyway, anytime that would happen, it would just trim that margin off the top of the first element and the bottom of the last element by default.
So you don't
say,
have to have special cases.
yeah, and you can
Yep.
specify what axis to. So you can say like only on the block axis or only on the inline axis. And so like if you have elements, I think the inline axis is less common just because you use gap for so many things these days, but there probably are some cool situations where it would come in handy. Text box trim is the one where I'm sure everybody's done it, where they have a button and it's like the uppercase text, and they put padding on the top and bottom of their button, and it's different on the top and the bottom. This like visual spacing is different. And that's because typography has extra space on the top and bottom of like how the characters are painted, because they need room for the accents and room for descender characters. And so you'll actually be able to say like, no, instead of having all this extra space on the top, you're going to trim to the top of the cap letters, and on the bottom, you're going to trim to the baseline. So you just remove all that extra space from the typography. So the padding on your button will actually be what you've declared instead of this weird extra space around the sides.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember having to do bespoke padding numbers on all sides of buttons before, so that will be nice to have.
Yep, that's noise. I hate that thing, 'cause that always would pop up. You'd sit down with the designer and they'd be like, the button's not in this, the text's not in the center, and you're like, what? And then you go look at it and you're like, oh, dang it, you're right.
You zoom way in, you're like, oh, you're right, it's 1 pixel off.
And then someone goes, okay, well, just put line height 1 on it.
Yes,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
And then they have a word that says grab or whatever, or tasty, and then the Y at the bottom of the Y is cut off. And they're like, why is the bottom of the Y cut off? And it's like, you're in a whack-a-mole game with CSS now, buddy. Funny.
Another one just before we go that is I'm excited for it, but I'm also like, I think it's going to change how CSS is written, is the ATTR function being able to take, like, not only be used as content on pseudo elements. So it's where you can actually like pull in any value from a data attribute and use it any way you want in your CSS.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think that,
Tell me it's not a programming language now.
And honestly, that one is what you would call typecasting in a scripting language. That's the only way that this could work, because it was otherwise could be an attack vector. You could be adopting some data attribute that actually makes a request for a background image that then exposes something about this user. So instead, it's type required. You're like, I want this data attribute as a string, as a number. And if it fails that typecast, then the value doesn't show up in the right way, and you have some issues. But still, I thought that was a really clever guard, because otherwise this could have been a wildly robust attack vector system. Would be stripping data attributes off of every element on the page and posting them as parameters on the query string of an image or something. It's just nuts. That is a
Yeah,
cool
if there's
feature.
a way
I
to
agree.
attack stuff, people will find it.
Yeah.
Like the
true.
NFTs and PDFs and different things that just execute code when you open it is like cool.
Or npm install that just starts executing code as a postscript.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NPM stuff today was pretty rough.
Even
Did you
more.
guys see all that?
I missed
Yeah.
that.
Although I didn't follow all of it, but I know that it's almost like an aftershock from the first earthquake, right? Yeah. Tell me more.
Yeah, there were several tweets that I saw, and I don't know the full extent, but it was like the one that affected me was the like tiny color was like one of them that was compromised, I guess. So Swatch is going to need some fixes for that, I guess.
Ooh, Color.js. It's a superior JS library for color anyway. I used to tiny color for a while also.
Hey, you're a owner of the repo if you would like to open that video.
Hey, let's pair on that next.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, it was like that one and like some like 40 packages or something. And then they were like, oh, by the way, also everything CrowdStrike has ever published and like a bunch of Ember stuff, because they do a lot of Ember work too. And I was like, ooh, this matters. Like I should probably look into that. So yeah, I think everyone was kind of floundering today, trying to make sure everybody was good.
Yikes. Are you familiar with CSS's one of its first hacks that you could do, the billion laughs attack? Are you familiar with this?
No.
Do you know this one, Kevin?
I don't think so.
It came out this particular attack originated with XML. CSS enabled it when we got CSS custom properties. So imagine you get a custom property and the value of it is lol. And then custom property 2 is the value of lol and lol, or lol and lol. Anyway, by the time you can create a stack of 10 CSS variables that by the time you get to the 10th one, it's referencing all the previous ones, and they expand so big so quickly, it busts the memory of a browser and will crash a page. So it's called the billion laughs attack, because you're just like, look at me, 10 lines of CSS crashing a browser. Pretty funny. So they had to put guards in there where you can only nest custom properties a certain level deep to prevent the billion laughs attack. Right?
I'd never heard of that
Interesting.
one.
Who's laughing now? It's a stupid joke.
Oh God. Yeah, so we've talked about a lot of weird things, new things, CSS things. Why can't AI write CSS though?
That's a good question. I know. I think the biggest problem it has is that CSS is sort of the opposite of what it's good at. Like you need a little like encapsulated JavaScript thing that's all it does. Like it can do that whatever amount of lines of code that is. Whereas like with CSS, it's sort of going back to what I was saying earlier with the problems with the CSS and JS, where like people that are coming from JavaScript backgrounds are trying to encapsulate things because they're not comfortable with the global scope of CSS and the way everything works with everything else. So like, yeah, you can get AI to write you some CSS for that component, but even now that I've seen of it, where it should be aware of the entire code base, it just seems to like ignore half of it just because it doesn't want to look at it. I've seen it, look at something, start using custom properties for some parts of it, and then just completely ignore it for other ones. It seems it has the problem of over declaring like crazy, which is a problem that a lot of beginners like to do, where it's just like, it's just throwing width 100% on things and these other things that it wouldn't look like it would cause an issue, but it actually does cause a problem in that scenario that it's used it in. And then I guess it just doesn't have like the visual testing or any, like it's throwing that code in there, assuming this is what's right. And with like a JavaScript, you can test the JavaScript pretty easily to see if it runs and actually does something, whereas the CSS doesn't really fail. And it doesn't know that it doesn't fail because there's no error coming to tell it that there's a problem with that. and so it just, oh, this must be fine. But yeah, I think there's a lot of layers to AI struggling with CSS compared to other languages that it still also struggles with. It's getting okay at some stuff, but it's far from perfect everywhere, I think.
Yeah. I mean, AI struggles a lot, I think. Sorry. What?
That was an awesome answer. I'm just like,
Oh,
I'm
I
just
thought
like,
you were
rock
like,
on. I was
I
like,
have
geez
something to add.
Louise, that was an amazing answer. I was like, just creep my fingers up here, just like, wee, sign of the horns. Yeah. I was like, I have nothing to say. That was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think part of the problem is that, yeah, like it depends on where you're using the CSS too. Like the JavaScript, code can be used and it's kind of going to execute the same regardless. But like it really matters what scope you're in with the
Yep.
CSS, if you're going to break everything else or not, or like, so it's like, I don't think I mean, it can't think. We've talked about this before. It doesn't think. It just like pulls some answer to like a query and goes blah. So like it doesn't understand anything about how that should work.
Yeah, and I've always been curious, and not I don't think it's so much these days, but like I remember at one point when people were first getting very excited about it, and I think I made some content around like just the problems it was causing, but like at one point it said something that was really just I wish I could remember what it was, but it was just like writing a reset or something and like explaining why it was the right thing to do. And the source it gave was this like random GitHub repo that had like 20 lines of CSS in it. And I was just like, I think that it's gotten better, I think, at vetting information and where it's pulling things from. But like those early days were really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Good for that one repo though, I guess.
Yeah, it's like open props sneaks in there pretty good too. I'm like, hey, it does pretty good with open props. It must have trained itself for free on a bunch of stuff. Well done.
Oh, I wonder how that happened.
It's like Chris Coyier is like, I know it read all of CSS tricks, like, hey, toss me a buck or two, like, but hey, we couldn't have controlled it.
He made his CSS tricks money.
He did. Here's a little bit of a whatnot question for you, Kevin. Do you wake and bake?
Do I wake and bake?
Yeah, do you wake up and make bread?
Oh,
because I know you bake bread. So
I do, but I don't wake. Well, I sometimes. It's been a while, but I do. If I'm doing sourdough, it would be early in the morning or when I get up and get the kids to school, and then it goes in the oven. But I haven't made any in a while now. I'm a little bit worried about the state of my starter, to be honest.
Oh, that's the yeast you carry over between bakes?
Yeah.
Does it go bad if you leave it for a while or something?
I think I can get it back to life. I've had it in the fridge. You can sort of like prep it to go dormant, I guess, and then you get it out and start feeding it. But it's been a little while now, so we'll see if I can revive it. It's not that
Sounds
hard
like
to
a
start
pet.
a new one, but yeah. There's a bit of a pain in the butt if you're not like actively baking constantly.
Yeah. How did people figure that out? Like,
seriously.
There's so many things that are just, I mean, I'm sure the first one was an accident, but then like, how do you perfect that science? I don't know.
It's even like finding it as an accident, like anything to deal with fermentation. I'm just like, like the steps in fermentation that are going on, and then you decide to try and consume it just seems really bizarre to me.
Yeah, curdling anything with time. You're like, oh, you let that just be in the sun or out until it grew stuff, and then you got really hungry? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they probably, I'm assuming like one of the original ones was wine. Like somebody put a bunch of grapes in a barrel and left it for too long, and then people are like, oh, juice, and drank it, and they're like, wait, I feel good. And then they were like, all right, we could do this with more
Why
stuff.
is Grandpa
And, like,
dancing? He hasn't danced in 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there were probably also a lot of people that ate stuff they shouldn't have and didn't make it. So
That's true. What about brewing beer? Are you doing that? Have you ever made whiskey? I don't know. Tell us a little bit about some of the drinks you make. Oh, kombucha too. So you're willing to watch things bubble and fester and then drink it later. That's nice.
As I said, I wouldn't have touched any of it if I never knew that was the process. But now that I know that it's safe and I can get something good out of it, I'm curious about like fermentation in general. I think it's fun. So I haven't distilled anything. Where I used to live, technically you weren't allowed. Where I'm living now, you can. So maybe one day, I don't know, but beer is sort of my main focus, and it takes enough time. Right now I haven't been able to for a while because we have a major water shortage. It's rained like
Oh,
once in the
really?
past 4 months or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we're under water advisories and stuff, and it takes a fair bit of water, so I'm holding off for the time being. But I generally try to brew once a month usually.
Whoa, what do you do with all that? Because when I was brewing beer, it was way more beer than I ever wanted to drink. And then you had to wait so long that by the time I don't know, it was, so maybe you're bottling into little bottles then, or
A
are you
keg.
doing half kegs? Oh, a full keg
Well,
a
five
month?
5 gallons.
Oh, 5 gallons. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's like a pony. Is that a pony?
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So 5 gallons. Yeah, I probably drink more than I should, so it's probably good that we've had the water advisory. And then so yeah, I mean I try to share with other people too. I try not to like
Yeah,
hold
give
it
it
for
away.
myself.
Yeah,
But
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
here's a
come on over
growler.
for
Yeah,
yeah,
go home.
yeah. I used to bottle when I first started, and then I stopped for a while just because bottling sort of sucks. I
It does
wasn't
suck.
a
And
fan.
having the caps around, like, just you start to find caps in places you don't want. You're just like,
Hmm.
that stinks. Yeah.
Yeah, and washing the bottles and everything. So kegging definitely simplifies the process a lot. So that makes life easier.
I need to do cooler hobbies, I think.
Maybe power wash, man. That's so popular. Power washing is a great
Ugh,
hobby.
yeah. I guess so. Doesn't take as much dedication to the craft as brewing beer though.
I don't know, sports too. You got more friends than me because you watch sports. Like we're over here making beer and drinking it by ourselves, maybe or whatever. But you're like cheering on with friends. So
Yeah,
it's pretty tempting.
sometimes. I do
It
like to watch
sounds.
some football.
Oh yeah. What team do you follow?
Well, I'm talking American football,
Yeah,
just in
yeah.
case we weren't on the same page. Yeah. So I like college football the most.
Oh yeah.
I went to Virginia Tech, so I'd like to see them do well, but they're 0-3 so far, so doing terrible. Yeah, professional teams I've been following the Eagles a little bit just because I like Saquon Barkley.
Mhm.
I think he's just an insane machine at everything football, so he's fun to watch. Um, yeah, I'm not that serious about it. I just will watch whoever's on, and it's fun to watch.
Have a good time. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's how I like to do sports too. I'll show up to any sport and I'll enjoy it with you because I like watching people kick butt. I'm like, dude, if you're good at something, I'm rooting for you. If you suck at it, I'm gonna tell you. That's the only funny. Okay, so like, I'm quite supportive when I go watch sports at like someone's house. But if someone's sucking and I don't care. I don't have any affiliation. So I'm like, if they're sucking, I'm like, that was some high school garbage. You should quit. I can't believe you're a professional. That's the same mistake I've watched my friend Gary do 5 times because he sucked. So I don't know how you're getting paid. And my friends are like, dude. And I'm like, hey, yes, if he's bad, he's bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think we picked the wrong careers too because Virginia Tech is firing their football coach for being bad and giving him $6 million so he'll leave. I'm like, I would love to, like,
Yeah.
guys, I could coach some
What a
football. Like, you might have to
severance.
fire me
Jeez.
soon, but yeah.
Yeah. The coaching salaries when like it's different from the players just because like you never like I don't know. I'm always confused on like how much influence they have, and obviously they do because there's coaches that clearly are good. But then it's those times where they hire them for these obscene salaries and then fire them 2 years later, but they're still under like a 7 year contract, and you're just like, where's I don't know. There's way too much money in sports. It's
Oh yeah.
insane.
There's a lot of money in sports.
Yep.
Yep.
There's a lot of money in everything except for the things that are paying me. So
Oh
speaking
man.
of which, though, if you were not in tech,
Mm.
what other career would you choose?
It's weird. I've taken the most like roundabout way to even get to where I am now. So I don't I don't have a good answer for that just because like I was in science that I dropped out of to go into film. I have a degree in film. Then I had nothing to do with that. So I got a BA in urban planning. Would have needed a master's if I really wanted a job in that. And I didn't really feel like I wanted to do that. So then I got a vocational degree in design, which led me to getting back into web that was a hobby of mine, but then got me hired as a teacher. that then eventually led to the YouTube channel. So I've been all over the place. So I don't, even if I had a plan, I don't think I would actually be doing the thing that I say I would be doing. Yeah.
Well, what about if you could just get a random skill, like something that has nothing to do with any of those things? If you don't have anything in mind, that's fine. But like, if there's something
Yeah,
that just
no.
sounds really cool, that you're like, if I could just do that, like, what would it be?
I mean, for me, the one thing I've always wanted to be was a race car driver since I was a little kid.
Oh, nice.
I do like sim racing stuff now, and like, yeah, driving a car. Like, if I won like 100 million and I could retire, and I know I'd live comfortably because it's a rich man sport, but I'd be like into like the touring cars or something like that, just like the old man racing that they have going on. That yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think I have the stamina for racing because you got to do like so much driving and like such fast speeds and like, yeah, I think it sounds fun for like going straight on a track for like, 10 seconds or whatever. I'd do that, but
Yeah, I wouldn't like. I'm not. If you were asking me when I was like 12, I would have said Formula One. Now I'm like, there's no way that I would even step in one of those. Oh, hello.
a wild Jason has appeared.
I have to translate because I have headphones on. Nice. I could hear everything while you're all going. It's great.
Oh, nice.
We have so many more questions for you. I'm like, which one's next? Oh, here, wait. What's your favorite CSS typo? Like for me, it's there's a couple I used to post them on Mastodon, and Hayden is really good at picking up on them. But like one that I remember typing and feeling so embarrassed, it was even like going to be in my typing history, was :fist dash child function. And it's like, it's supposed to be first child. I was like, I don't want to, no. Do you have any typos that you're just like, I'm going to edit that out because that's embarrassing?
Yeah, the most embarrassing one for me is a display absolute.
Display absolute.
Yeah, I do
Nice.
that all the time. Like I know I do it and I still do it and I still can't find the problem. I'm just like, why is this not working? The other one that I do a lot is if I'm just building like a demo that just has like a bunch of empty divs, so I want to put a background color on them, but I just write color. And that's really annoying because there's no error in the dev tools. There's nothing. It's like the color's there. Why is it not working? And then I'm like, oh, that's the text color, right? And yeah, I've been doing that for a decade, and I will continue doing it for sure.
Yeah, I do feel like that is kind of backwards. Like it should have been color is the color of the box, and then you say text color for
Text color does make more sense. Hey, are there tailwind typo blunders? Like if you're tailwinding by hand? And here's a follow-up question. How often do you tailwind from scratch by hand? You're like, I'm going to write every class in this class list by hand. And then what are your blunders where do you make any silly mistakes where you type but instead of something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head a like silly mistake, but yeah, I do hand roll tailwind stuff for sure. Like if I'm building something, I'll write it all from scratch. I'm just like, one class on, look at what it looks like, add another class. Like it's very iterative. And then I'll also do like just duplicate it all. Like you don't even need your JavaScript loop that like loops through the items. Just put that string of 20 classes on like 8 items in a row, and then you can clean it up later. And yeah, I mean, I think it's all about like what makes you the fastest to get like the thing you want on the page, and then you can always abstract it out to be smaller and better and faster later.
I just had a wild idea. What if there was a race between vanilla and Tailwind? You had to build the same piece of UI and you watched two people race it out. So the goal was to completion, the fastest. Would a Tailwind typer, because they're typing way less characters and they're working directly in the markup, not between two files, would they spank a vanilla CSS developer? What do you think?
I think in a sufficiently easy prompt, yes. Like if you're going to throw in a bunch of new CSS stuff that's maybe not supported, or like you don't know what the syntax in Tailwind would be because they have to do like gymnastics to make it work. That stuff you'd probably be faster. Just, if you're an expert in CSS, you can just put it all in there. But yeah, if it's like, here's these like 10 nested boxes and they need to have these padding and they're these colors and like, something simple. you could, I think Tailwind could win, but it's also about typing speed. There's a lot of variables. Like, or is there some AI assist? Like, oh, I'm always doing this, so here's like blah. There's a bunch of classes. Like, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you better hope there's not a ULLI because you're going to have to type all that across all those LIs. Whereas Kevin's over there going direct to send an LI, boom, 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 and he's like done. You know.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but you can. So let's not forget, though. Well, I guess what's the rules? Like, can you use CSS files or like anything normal CSS at all? Because you can define your own like Tailwind classes and do some CSS-y stuff there, and then just throw those classes on. Like, they're just classes. It is just CSS. It's a crazy argument in the first place, but it's like.
What do you think, Kevin? Do you think you could beat a Tailwinder?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it would depend a lot on like the scale. I think the CS writing just the CSS takes off like is beneficial if there is like, you know, you have as soon as it's like I have one selector that can do a whole bunch of stuff and I don't have to apply it to 10 different items, then the CSS starts like gaining an advantage. But if it was just like one box and you had 10 classes that had to go on it, Tailwind's going to win. I would assume, you know, assuming same typing speed. But now I have a content idea for a video. Thank you, Adam. I have to find someone who's really good at a Tailwind and see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean,
Bring
I'm
on
good
Robbie.
at Tailwind, but not at typing though. That's where I would feel.
Ooh.
I'm so slow at typing, man. Like,
Although the type ahead features in that's one thing Tailwind has
That's
going
true, a
for
lot
it
of
is the type
autocomplete,
ahead.
yeah.
A lot of the autocomplete's very tight, and so yeah, you really only need the first character or two before you start to get options, and then you're just picking it from a menu. But still, I do think that video would it's that spicy question that everyone's wondering in their head. What would happen
Yeah.
if you got the best Tailwind person versus the best CSS person, and they went head to head on a couple of tasks? What would
I
happen?
mean, I would
don't know.
nominate Adam Wathan as the creator of Tailwind as the Tailwind person.
Yeah,
I think
dude,
he would
Wathan
probably
versus
do it.
Powell. That'd be an
you go.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah. I'd just be worried that I get spanked on that. But anyway,
I'd get spanked. I'm actually pretty slow. People are like, okay, come over here and help me do this thing. You're probably gonna nail it first time. I'm like, nope. But I'm patient.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to time here. Before we end, what things would you like to plug?
I mean, if you go to my YouTube channel, you get anything you'd want to find. If you're trying to learn any CSS stuff, so it's just Kevin Powell on YouTube. You'll find me, Kevin Powell with like CSS. If for some reason my stuff doesn't come up, if you are interested in newsletters and you don't mind having more inbox clutter, I think my newsletter is pretty good. I enjoy writing it and people seem to like it. So you can find that at my website, kevinpowell.co. And that's where basically everything else I'm up to is there too. And I'm on Blue Sky if you're on social media and looking for somebody to follow.
You have courses on Front End Master. Also, I'll just go ahead and plug those for you.
Yeah.
Those look like a lot of work, and they seem really great.
Yeah, I have a course there. I have other courses. So if on my site kevinpowell.co, there's links to any course stuff if you're looking for like curated paths on CSS stuff, because you want to sort of dive more into the weeds instead of just learning about a feature at a time like you would on YouTube. Yeah, I have some content that can help out there too.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. If you liked it, please subscribe, leave us some ratings and reviews. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.
Bump, 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 bump.